everybody, and welcome back once again to the Tandie Jacobs Born2Differ show. My name is Tandie Jacobs, and I'm joined here today with an absolutely amazing, wonderful woman by the name of Chiyedza Chiwonzoro. Chiyedza, hi.
Hi, Tandie. Thank you for having me
here.
here.
Thank you for being on the show. It's lovely to have you. How have you been doing?
I can't complain besides the COVID issue that we are going through at this moment. Other than that, I'm all right.
How have you been managing through the COVID period? It has been a little bit, difficult, I think, all across the board.
Yes, it's been tough having to be someone who works in the healthcare as well.
Yes, you're a nurse, aren't you?
Yes, it's difficult. It's challenging because you are looking after everybody else and you need to be mindful of taking care of yourself as well.
Of course.
So it's been a challenge, and it continues to be a challenge at the moment until I think such time when COVID is no more.
It is, yes.
Hopefully.
And some have mentioned another aspect of COVID is that we tend to put on weight, isn't it?
That's right.
How has that been for you? How has that been for you?
I have to say it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
I think I have put some more pounds on, and the wardrobe is becoming a problem.
Yes, I think you speak for all of us, my dear. You speak for all of us. Okay, well, Chiyedza, I mean, everybody's probably going to be wondering, why do I have you here on the show? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Chiyedza?
Okay. Chiyedza is a young woman per se.
Okay, of course.
A mother, a grandmother.
A grandmother?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She is a sister, she's an auntie, she is a friend. And she could say she's a mother to many.
I like that. I like that. How many grandchildren do you have?
I have two.
Oh, wow. And how old are they?
I have a 10-year-old grandson and a 6-year-old granddaughter.
Wow, they must be blessed to be having a wonderful grandmother like you, honestly, who's young and energetic like you.
Oh, yes. Like my grandson says, Gogo, you are on point.
Gogo, you are on point.
Yeah, all the time.
I like that. I like that. No, that is very, very nice.
Thank you.
Now, Chiyedza, you mentioned you're a sister, you're a mother, and you're a mother to many. What do you mean by that? Can you explain that a little bit more?
I find myself being able to relate to a group of women, young women, teenage moms, single moms, married moms, separated or divorced moms. Okay. So I'm an all-rounder, but having said that, my heart is more with the teen moms.
With the teen moms.
That's right.
Okay. So you are originally from Zimbabwe?
I am originally from Zimbabwe.
And you've been in the UK for how long?
For 20 years.
For about 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. And do you miss, I'm sure you must miss Zimbabwe.
I do miss Zimbabwe a lot, especially in this weather.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a great weather, but having said that, I do appreciate being here as well because it has given me that opportunity which is not found in Zimbabwe at the moment.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to tell us a little bit because there's one aspect that you left out in this, that is the fact that you are an author. So when we come back, we're going to talk about just that.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Tandie Jacobs show, and I'm sitting here with a lady by the name of Chiyedza Chiwonzoro, who at the beginning described a lot about herself but omitted the fact that she is an author, and her book is entitled The Lioness In Me, this one. And I've had the pleasure of reading this book, and it's quite interesting, but I'm going to ask Chiyedza to tell us a little bit about the reason why she felt the need to have to write this book.
Thank you, Tandie, for bringing up this author, Chiyedza Chiwonzoro. Yes, the reason that I have come out and wrote a book, it comes from an early age of who Chiyedza was then. Chiyedza was a teen mom at the age of 14.
14 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
I became a teen mom, and the challenges that I have seen, experienced, and gone through have pushed something out of me, because I still see teenage pregnancies on the rise, unfortunately. But what could I do in order to play a role into the community, into the society, and into the world? Because teen pregnancy is not about Zimbabwe.
No.
It's not about Africa.
No, definitely.
It's about the world. There is obviously a difference in percentages, but it's still there and it's still happening. But what made me think I need to write this book, I need to get the message there to young girls and to the parents as well.
Okay, so now I'm going to pick out a few things, especially from the fact that I've read the book. I know the book is going to be for sale, so you can be able to buy it. People can purchase it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how you felt, because you got pregnant at the age of 13 and at 14 you gave birth. And how was that for you? How did you feel? What was the experience, especially with your parents, yourself? What happened at that point in time? And this was in Zimbabwe, isn't it? Before you came here.
That's right.
So how was that for you?
It was scary. It was full of shame. It was daunting. It was unheard of. It was hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
And it was hard in what way? In the fact that the community, or in the fact that you now had to leave school?
It was difficult in the sense that I had embarrassed my parents, and difficult in the sense that I was a baby who is going to be giving birth to a baby as well.
You say
and
having a child. You mention that.
A child having
a
child. And the community doesn't do it very well, because community forgets that they also have children. They don't know what the future holds. And sometimes instead of empathizing and being compassionate and being sensible in the ways people speak and act, it just destroys you as a person. I have instances where I was being kushereredzwa,
like
mocked,
yeah. Okay.
By other children of my age.
Okay.
And the adults would speak like she's a prostitute.
Wow.
I didn't know what a prostitute meant there, so I guess I was naive. But it is worrying that at this rate, if teen pregnancy continues like what happened to me, what is there for young people to turn to? Whom do they turn to? How do we take out the trauma that they have? Because somebody who knows me or who doesn't know me, they think I never went through anything, because here I am talking today. But I had my highs and lows, because I had to go back to school.
And you had to go back to school. You had your baby, and now you have to go back to school, and you have a child, and now the school looks at you differently. Your friends, look at you differently. Did you lose any of your friends?
I would say, because I'll just take you back a little. While I was pregnant, I was sitting in class carrying my pregnancy.
Really?
I behaved like a child because I was a child, wasn't I? But I think something changed within me, and it changed in such a way that I personally did not understand, because I was a child.
Okay.
I behaved like a child, but I was a child carrying pregnancy, and there were other children in the school grounds, in the classroom. As much as I went into mainstream again to finish my grade 7, I was in grade 7.
You were in grade 7?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Wow.
It was daunting, because the other children thought, this one, she's pregnant, she's in school. And some would say, how did you get pregnant? How would I answer that? So there are issues that I don't understand myself, how I sailed through. But I had to complete the grade 7, and I had to go into high school, into secondary school.
Can I just pause you for a second? Now, going back to school and the fact that you're pregnant, was the school welcoming? Did the teachers, accept you for who you are? Or did they not say stop school? Was there, did your parents have to speak to the school to ask them for you to continue?
I thank God for my father, because he is a strong man and very daring. He was a teacher at the school as well.
Okay.
So having his own child, and my father
Wow.
believed in education a lot. He was principled in that manner. So when he looked at me and thought, this child is that gonna be the end of it? He spoke to the headmaster. I don't know what was said. I wasn't there. All I knew, I was going back into class. And I actually didn't stop going to school.
So I think, when you mentioned earlier that it brought a lot of embarrassment to my family and must have been difficult, because I'm just imagining now that your father is a teacher at the same school as you and his daughter, and here he's teaching, he's trying to educate other pupils, but now whilst he's doing that, his own daughter is the one who's become pregnant, and it's also something very difficult even for parents. Now, the fact that your father was able to say, I want you to still continue, that is amazing, and it's very powerful, because he was able to hold your hand.
Yes.
As much as he may not be physically holding your hand
Yes.
on the school premises, but it's saying that I am in support. My daughter may have done wrong, but I am still standing with her and supporting her.
That's right.
Through this very difficult time.
That's right.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Tandie Jacobs Show, and I'm talking here to Chiyedza, who's been talking about how at the age of 13 she was pregnant, and at 14 she had a child. And in her book, which is called The Lioness In Me, she talks about a child having a child. Now, Chiyedza, being brought up in Zimbabwe, and this is something in Zimbabwe which with our culture is something that is not easily accepted. How did your mother feel, or what happened? How did your mother respond, or how did your mother take it? Because sometimes in cultures you hear, or in Zimbabwe I've heard that sometimes the mother is blamed for the child getting pregnant, the mother gets into trouble. How was it for your parents, for your mom specifically?
I broke my mother's heart, and even up to this day, I think I broke her heart. Like you rightly say, in our culture, it tends to be mothers who blamed not only for pregnancy, but whenever a child does something wrong, the fathers take the credit for
Doing good.
Yeah, that's how it is. But I broke my mother's heart in such a way that she had to be so hard on me, I believe, to make my father understand that she had no clue, of which, to be honest, my mom did not have a clue. She would not have been part of what I did.
Okay.
Not at all. So I remember my mother, she beat me hard.
Right.
And up to this day, I don't think she really wanted to do that. She had to make things make sense. She could have beaten me, but not the way she did. You know what is used to put the ox together to get into the fields?
Yeah.
She trouble.
Yeah.
That's what she used.
Wow. Oh.
If anything, to say I would lose my baby, possibly I could have. And not that my mother wanted that to happen.
No.
But she had to take some action in the process of bringing me back into line to an extent. So it was tough for my mom because women we talk. So imagining all the other women in the village, because this was in the village. I grew up in Mondoro.
Okay.
And I went up to my primary school from grade 1 to grade 7 in Mondoro.
Okay.
So for that kind of a situation, everyone in the village is your relative.
Is your relative.
You are connected somehow.
It's to raise a child, it takes a village.
Yes.
So the whole village.
The whole village. So as much as I don't really know the exact feeling that my mother heard, but I can only imagine that she was probably traumatized herself in a way. Because if I look at my father, my father was very disappointed. He was very angry. But at the same time, he wanted the best for me, even in his anger.
Yeah.
The anger was not like, he's done with me. He had to find purpose to bring me back into the line of having a life in the future.
A life in the future.
So it was tough for both my parents and for my siblings to be...
How many siblings do you have?
10.
10?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We are 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
we are 11.
Okay.
And so I have 10 siblings.
You have 10 siblings. So you're 11 in your family.
Yes.
And you are
I am the 6th born.
You're a 6th born.
I'm the middle child.
Okay, you're the middle child.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
did they at any given point call you like rebellious? Did they not, were they not upset with you as well? Were they?
I want to believe they were disappointed, they were upset with me, but I have to say I was given love. Looking back, I was given love, but then it's you who has done something wrong. In this case, it was me. So I had my own feelings and childish feelings as well. You know, I'm dealing with myself as a child. I'm dealing with myself as this child who has fallen pregnant. She's still at school. How does that make my siblings feel? How do they see me? I don't know, but for certain, I know I disappointed them, but they were there for me.
Were you not scared to inform your parents that this is what has happened? Because, you know, when you do something and going to tell your parents that I've done something wrong, and like you said, rightfully, our African parents, I know my mother also would have beat the living crap out of me, you know, and up until now, even at my age, you know, married, I'm still scared to go and say something to my mom if I've done something wrong. How was it for you? Were you scared to tell your parents?
I didn't know I was pregnant, Tandie. I didn't know.
Right.
It was my father.
Your father is the one who suspected that something
is not right here.
Yes, the child doesn't look right.
Yes. So my father noticed that my father used to buy a lot of meat, fatty meat, and I think we used to eat meat every day. So all of a sudden, I fell off meat.
Right. As with pregnancy, you sometimes get off things. You don't feel like eating.
And because I didn't know any better, I didn't even think anything about it. So my father actually went to my aunt and said, "Can you talk to Chiyedza? Something is not right." And I remember prior to that, I would go to this aunt. They would cook sadza with muriwo unedovi.
Vegetables with peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's one of the delicacies. It's lovely.
Yes, pumpkin leaves, which I never used to like.
Okay.
I never used to eat dovi, peanut butter. So they didn't ask, but there was a pause somehow. But then when my father sent me there to have me questioned, that's when I realized that I was pregnant. But my aunt just said, "Are you pregnant?" She said, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I said, "No." She said, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I said, "No." And she said, "Wait until your father gets to this case. Are you pregnant? Do you have a boyfriend?" She continually asked these questions, and I kept on saying no. Then when she emphasized about my father, I just had to say yes. "Did you sleep with the boy?" "Yes." who is this boy? Then I said.
And this boy, from what I've read in the book, also used to go to the same school?
He was in secondary school now.
But his father
was a teacher.
Was a teacher at the same school
with my father.
Wow. Whew.
It was tough. And it's a situation where I don't even know how I have to an extent come out of it. Yes, I understand my parents had to play the role in order to facilitate my future as it is now.
Yeah.
But to look back and think what exactly...
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. I'm really sorry. Yeah, go on.
So it was tough because I had to stay at the school, like you elope, isn't it? I had to be sent to, because the teacher was from was from Chivu.
Okay.
So he used to live at the school with his family. So I had to leave my mother's house.
And you had to go and stay with the boy's parents. And this is at the age of 13, 14?
Yes.
Wow.
And obviously things had changed. Your mother's home will never be the same as next door.
Did they receive you? I mean, because you spoke a lot about, you brought a lot of shame in your family and how they felt, your parents. But now even the boys' side, how did they receive you? How did they handle their son? How was that aspect? And I think when we come back, tell us a little bit more about that.
That's right.
Okay?
I will.
So we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back once again to another segment with Chiyedza Chiwonzoro, who's been telling us about her life experience from the time when she became a mother at the age of 14. Chiyedza has also written a book. She's an author, and she's written a book and where she explains a lot more. I would urge you to buy it, but in the book she explains about the experiences of what she went through of when she became a teenage mother. Now, Chiyedza, just before we took our break, I asked you how, because you said you were taken to your
in-laws.
Your in-laws.
Per se.
In-laws per se.
Yeah.
To his parents, and you were staying there from the age of 14.
Yeah.
Now, how was that for them? Because now you've left. You've left your home, your comfortable home, and you've gone over to the boy and with his parents.
Yes.
How did they receive you? Did they automatically accept you? How was he, especially the father of the child? How was he?
The father of the child, to start with, he was so scared of my father, but he did not deny.
Okay.
The person who came into picture to kind of deny was his father.
Okay.
He was not very accommodating to start with. But my father, being my father, he had to make sure that they took responsibility as well of what had taken place, which is something that I really want to speak to parents about. As parents, we tend to hide and harbor bad behavior of our children. And in this case, when a girl falls pregnant, and this is a young girl, the parents of the boy, they will do anything and everything in their power to deny the girl. Yeah. But mind you, parents, you are not there when these kids meet and mess up. But what you are doing as well, you are already rejecting the unborn child by so doing. And these are the boys again who are going to grow into men of the future.
Of course.
What are they going to bring? How are they going to perceive life? How are they going to interact in the family, in the community, in the society? You will find some of these boys, as they become older men, they have issues that haven't been dealt with, just like a teen mom who has issues that hasn't been dealt with. When I say teen's mom issues have not been dealt with, I'm talking about where the girl child have been sent away to the in-laws. The in-laws, then they don't like this girl. You go back to your parents, they don't like you either. So you are traumatized and you are left on your own. What happens next is another story.
That is very true, and that's something really powerful and encouraging, and bringing awareness, especially to the parents, the family, and especially to parents who have got young boys.
Yeah.
Because we also have to take responsibility of what our children do. Just because a girl falls pregnant, it doesn't mean it's now her responsibility by herself, but it's both your responsibility.
There is never a girl or a woman who gives themselves pregnancy.
No.
Somebody has got to do it, and somebody has got to be responsible.
Now, Chiyedza, could I ask you, being raised in a Christian family as well, did this, in terms, you talked a bit about the village and how the village talks. When you were a young girl, did anything ever cross your mind, as in what I'm doing, is it right or is it wrong? Especially with your background, the fact that you are a Christian and our Christian beliefs is not to have sex until you're married. Did anything like this cross your mind? If you can go back that far.
I think I can. But if I say it's a bit haze, it's a bit cloudy, to be honest, I don't even know how I felt, what I thought about it. Yes, I knew it was wrong. But to what extent? To what extent? I knew it was wrong, but it never crossed my mind that I would fall pregnant.
Okay.
No, I never thought of pregnancy. So when I was being asked, do you have a boyfriend? Are you pregnant? The first thing I said was no, because I didn't even know. So you see, there is a lot of things that have taken place as a child. And in my being childish and being a child, I didn't even think or know the consequences. But here I was.
Here you are. Do you think there was or do you think there is a gap in the system, in the sense, in the sense that there is not much awareness to young girls?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think it's a 50-50. There is awareness to young girls about pregnancy, but it is the level at which it is injected into them and who is doing it.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say I was sat down and spoken about having sex and becoming pregnant. It was like,
if you get pregnant, if you sleep with a man,
yes,
or you sleep with a boy, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
That's all that is said.
Yes,
and that is true. I think
that is true.
That's more what is said.
Yes, it's not clear cut. It's like they can't really say.
They just graze the surface.
Yes. So it leaves a lot of, I think I can, what if? You know what I mean? But then with the mind of a child, your brain doesn't go any further as an adult. It ends somewhere, which I feel that's exactly what happened to me, because I never thought I was going to be pregnant. How could I be pregnant? But then I fell pregnant. I had to face the consequences. I had to deal with it the way I dealt with it as a child, as a human being, as a school-going age child. It was just all sorts of things that were involved there. And because I had to go back to school after writing my grade 7, my parents and my older sister, they had to run around to look for a school and to make sure their child is well looked after and everything that needs to be done to support me. That's another point.
To support you.
Parents who think when their daughter falls pregnant and the best way is to send them away and they're still school going age.
Yeah.
What exactly, I have a question for parents. What exactly are you doing? This child has been disabled in a way because they are young. From a biological point of view, they can't grow. And at that point, maybe that's why I'm short. Because
you are quite short.
I didn't give myself enough time to grow.
Right.
And there could be more biological problems
That are so
to start with. Then there is the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
And there is the
psychologically and emotionally.
Yes, it's a lot of things that are involved there. In the time this girl falls pregnant, the idea, parents, is to support your daughters, no matter how difficult it is. And the child can be rebellious. I wasn't rebellious. Thank God for that. I was so ashamed, and I was like, so afraid and scared that if I don't do things right, then look, I've missed. What's going to happen to me next? And so on and so on. So parents, we need to remember that we have a responsibility.
And I think it's also about how, because once a situation like that happens, an event like that happens to anyone, to any parent or any child, it's like your name changes and your identity changes.
That's right.
You are now called that girl who had a child. It's like people forget your name.
Yes.
They're just saying, don't you know that girl who had a baby? Who,
exactly.
At this so and so, the story goes further than your name changes, your identity changes, everything about you changes, and that's one thing that I was quite intrigued about with your book. And I'm just going to read a certain bit from one of the pages, which says, to some extent, my identity got lost somewhere in the process of falling pregnant as a child and becoming a young mom. This meant that somewhere along the line, I had to re-identify myself. So your identity got lost.
Yes, indeed.
And you didn't even know who you were, what was happening, what I'm doing. And it's a completely new world altogether.
A different person altogether.
What then did it take for you to be able to then say, this is who I am? I mean, for you to be sitting on this platform, Chiyedza, there is something inside of you that has given you the confidence to be able to talk about it publicly. Because some people, it's a story that they will never share. That's right. And I even know that some people will never tell their partners or their husbands that this is what happened to me, because they are either ashamed and it ruins who they are right now. They want to paint a different picture altogether. Yeah. So to be able to sit here, to talk about it publicly, to write a book about it, it takes a lot. What did it take for you to get to this stage?
Yeah, it took a lot of courage, a lot of backlash, a lot of boldness.
Boldness?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of strength. And it had to take a lot of God's grace. Because if it was not for God's grace, I wouldn't have come this far. The same God who gave that wisdom to my parents to redirect me, to reroute my life, and to have my identity rewritten. It means they believed in me. And I think that seed of believing in me, it made me also believe in myself. Not necessarily meaning that I didn't have challenges even when I believed in myself. There are moments of self-doubt. There are moments of self-battering. There are moments of self-neglect. Because you are in a situation where you could have done better, but hey, you haven't done better. You have brought shame. So it took a lot of things, a package, a dynamite to push me to come to this, because there was a time when I felt, of course, I have been sent back to school, but what am I going to become? Because once you've had a child, remember, wamvana.
Yes, they I don't know how to translate that into English.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I'm sorry, viewers. I think we'll find another meaning. I don't know how to translate that into English, but
it's a way of saying, because you've had a child out of wedlock, you are not married, so
you're an outcast.
You're an outcast sort of thing. So all that, it plays on your mind, because
and it's those little titles, isn't it, that kind of can go with you.
Yes.
And even if you get a job,
that
is what is said at the beginning, that this is what this person is.
Yes.
It's like your CV.
Yes,
that's what they read first about you before they get to know who you really are. Because in another part of your book, you then wrote, I have come close to giving up, but I can certainly say broken but not destroyed.
That's right.
So you got to a point where now I've been broken, and I've had all these names called over me, and my identity, like you said, had been changed. But now I've managed to rebirth, or myself,
rediscover myself. Yeah, Tandie, all I can say is it's been an uphill. It's like more than an uphill, a mountain. To have the strength, sometimes I don't even know where it came from. All I know is there was and there is something inside me that wants me to bring that out, because there are so many Chiyedzas out there.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, some will not talk about it. Some will even hide their child.
Oh yeah.
Some will even say the child is their brother
It's
or
not
their
theirs.
sister.
Yes. Yes.
And some will even get married and never talk about this child as their own. So these are the things that we are carrying as humans, as parents, as fathers and mothers, and the family will know all these things, but it's not about now. It's about the future.
It's about future.
What happens next? So it is for me, I would recommend it to every young girl who has fallen pregnant. One, don't hide your child. It's not going to change that you carried 9 months or even 7 months, because some will end up having a preterm child because they are young. So the circumstances are surrounding them are so many. Keep your child, don't hide. And even if you are going to be rebellious in the sense that parents are saying, hide your child, don't tell your husband. There is a lot of repercussions as you grow. Your parents might not be there then. You will be facing these situations yourself.
It's true, and I always believe that the truth will always come out one way or the other. And the last thing you want is for the truth to come out, even if it's 10 years later, when you have built a whole new world for yourself, and then this comes out, and maybe you're married and your husband doesn't know anything about it, and then all of a sudden there's a child. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you lie? A lot of trust issues, and it causes a lot of problems in the future.
It does.
I think people... I've heard of stories, and people have tried to give their reasons, justifications of why they did this and why they did that. But I think at that time it doesn't make it doesn't make sense. Like, if right now, not having said anything, it will not make sense to the person.
But at the same time, Tandie, I'll be carrying a burden for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Maybe it will come. Sometimes it will come out in a way that people don't understand why I behave in such a way.
Exactly.
Because there are issues that are going on. There are issues that haven't been dealt with. I think the other thing that I really want to emphasize to everyone, parents and the children, because I didn't remain a child. I'm grown now.
Yeah.
We need to take stock of ourselves. Okay. We need to redirect ourselves to the truth. Because when a child is born, it's a human being.
Yes.
That child,
is a gift from God.
Exactly. And I cannot take back that child into my womb. No. It's done. So we have to first, what we have, love the child, give them a chance, and stop calling teenage girls names. It's unnecessary, it's uncalled for. What they need is to be under our wings, redirect them. And you'll find some are rebellious, there's no doubt. Because whatever is in them is causing them to be there, because they feel they're an outcast already because of what they have done, and they're not forgiving themselves. That's a very important thing. Because if I had not forgiven myself, I would have gone the other way. But I forgave myself, and I had that support. And when you have support, it doesn't mean it's hunky-dory.
No.
They could be full of roses but with thorns. So you need to take everything into perspective. It's not a smooth sail as such. So there are a lot of things that you need to consider, and to always be on board in terms of reminding ourselves that young girls make mistakes, but that's not their destiny.
That's not
who they are.
And that's not exactly. It's all about.
So much.
There's so much more that they have to give.
There's something rich in them if we give them the chance and the opportunities and give them the love.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, if you could just tell us about what you want to do now, because I know there is a lot that you are that you plan to do and raise awareness. So when we come back, I can just talk a little bit about that, and then we'll be able to take on to the next stage.
Thank you.
All right. In this segment, Chiyedza, as you know, this show is about being born to be different. What would you say, following your ordeal and your life experience and your journey, that you have been able to come out? How do you identify yourself as Tandie? I was born to be different.
Okay. Thank you, Tandie, for that question.
Yeah.
I believe I was born to be different, just like everyone else. We all have what we have to make the world go around.
Yeah.
So for me, I was born to let the message out, not only to the young girls, but to the family as a whole. Because when I look at myself, my whole family played a role into making sure that I come this far. But we have families who disown their daughters. We have families who just let this child go with the man, and where they have gone, there is no life, there's nothing, absolutely nothing for them.
Okay.
So the difference that I need to make there is to make people understand that it doesn't have to be that way. And I will speak about it confidently.
Yes. And the fact that you have, after all that you went through, you still be able to bounce back. And like I said earlier, that fact that you're sitting here and confidently talking about it makes you, that alone makes you different. Because some people are not.
Definitely.
And you have sailed in your life, because right now you're a registered nurse, isn't it?
Yes,
you said earlier. So you are a nurse and you're still helping out people in the community, and you are regardless of everything else that has happened in your life.
Definitely.
You want to raise awareness.
That's right.
Now I'm going to ask, in which angle are you raising awareness to? Because it's not that we're saying teenage pregnancy is the right thing to do, because you can still be able to bounce back in your life. I think your story on its own, you've explained a lot of the challenges that you went through. And there's a lot more in the book as well. But in the raising awareness, are you raising awareness to young girls and boys? Or are you raising awareness to teenage pregnant mums and boys who've now become dads at a young age, as well as to the parents. Can you just shed a bit more light to that?
I am...
Because it's not like we're saying it's the right thing to do. Yeah, go on.
The teen pregnancy issue is not cool, if I can say. There's no need. It's avoidable. Nowadays, it's preventable. And obviously, in my culture, I would not say to my daughter, take some contraception. It would be like a no-no. But at the same time, it is tough not to do that because the consequences could be dire. So what I'm saying today is young girls, some are not even teenagers, they are sexually active. These are 11-year-olds to 12-year-olds. Then from 13 years onwards, they are sexually active. If they can abstain, hallelujah. If they can't, we need to have these conversations in our homes with our children.
Okay.
Gone are the days where I was scared to talk about sex with my mother. We need to find a way. We're not saying we're just going to talk about it like it's eating pudding.
Like if you have sex, you get into trouble and your life is killed.
Yes,
your life is destroyed. Yeah.
Exactly. We need to find conducive ways to make our children understand the consequences. Those are the children that haven't fallen pregnant yet.
Okay.
Then the teen parents, I'm including the girls themselves and the boys. To start with boys, if you know that your parents are not going to take this girl on board, stop sleeping with her. Okay. Girls, don't be fooled by the young boys saying, oh, you won't fall pregnant. It's only one time. It doesn't happen one time, boom, you are pregnant. And the sad thing is you are the one carrying the baby.
Oh, yeah.
School is done, no more. So, girls, take care of yourself. Allow yourself to grow. You will find that this sexual activity you want, it will still be there. And even you will enjoy it even better when you're more mature.
And you're married.
So just hang on. There's no rush. It will still happen. Then I'm talking to the teen moms themselves. Do not reject yourself. Do not write off yourself. Hello, community. Hello, nations. Please do not reject teen mothers.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
Yeah.
Let's teach them not to make the same mistake.
Okay.
Let's teach them love. Then parents, love your children regardless of falling pregnant. These are the daughters, the girl child. Like I said before, look after them and give them a chance. And in-laws, the boys' parents, I am begging you today, and I'll forever beg you, that please give these girls a chance. Speak the same language as the parents of both children and allow a rapport between you as parents for the sake of your grandchild.
Yeah.
Mothers especially, we are the ones who are first and foremost to say, that girl, we know her. She used to go out with so and so and she did this and she did this. It needs to stop.
Yeah.
How do you feel it was your daughter? And mind you, some people say, I don't have daughters. It's not about a girl child. Even the boy child can also be affected by issues of outside marriage,
of course,
children. So we need to take heed of this. And the other thing that I really need to emphasize, there is no need for governments to stop teen moms going back to school. I have to say thank you to my father, because he just stood firm about it. Here, there I was, and I don't know anywhere in Zimbabwe where it was said it was allowed, because today
it's not allowed.
I can say hallelujah and thank you to the Zimbabwean government, because now I understand and I know that girls that have fallen pregnant in the last few months going forward, they are being taken back into school. For me, I have been waiting for this for all the time I have known, because when I went back to school, I don't think it was allowed.
No.
It was something that was done.
That was not, yeah.
Yes, because I remember...
Secretly.
I remember when I went to school. Remember, I was in the primary school, then from the village.
Yeah.
Then I was shipped into Harare Girls High School.
Okay.
That's in the CBD.
Yeah.
Girl from the village. And one particular girl, she was a cousin to my cousin. She spoke about me having a child.
Right.
I just said, girl, don't spoil my life. Don't even.
So she told people at school?
Yes, we were sitting in the quad, and she just said, do you know that Chiyedza has got a child? I just looked at her and I stood up. You know, we used to wear dog collars.
Yeah.
I just stood up. I said, you know what? Stop. After all, the headmistress is my aunt. So what are you going to do about it? But that wasn't true.
Yeah.
I had to defend my cause. And mind you, I had gone to school with milk still in there. So I was walking like I need to be careful, because if anyone
bumps you
into me, I'll scream and they'll think, what's going on?
Yeah.
So these are the issues that we need.
It's funny you should say that, actually, with regards to your cousin of a cousin, because that goes to show that there are people in life who will use your past against you.
Yes.
Unless you are able to confidently talk about it, to rise up
above it,
and to rise above it. And the fact that you were able to sit here on a platform and talk about it. Now, if somebody out there is going to be like, oh, do you know Chiyedza had a child? It was like, yeah, and so Chiyedza talks about it. It's not a hidden secret.
It's not a secret.
But people will use these things against you, will pull you down, to stop you from moving forward with your life, to kill your self-esteem and your confidence, so that you don't progress in your life.
Exactly.
So one of the other things that I think I've picked up as well is that you are trying to empower young women, young mothers and fathers, and the parents, and to educate them about teen pregnancy, about sex on its own as a whole, because sometimes there's not enough education to young girls who are during the puberty stage, as they're beginning to develop themselves, and all these feelings are roaming all over their body. Exactly. There's not much. So those are the things that you are trying to raise awareness to, and to speak on a platform that is clear and transparent. I think very soon they'll call you Auntie Chichi, because because I think these are conversations that some parents still find difficult to have with their children. So very soon they'll be like, you know what, go to Auntie Chichi and she'll tell you all about it.
Exactly.
Where can people find you?
I am on Facebook.
Okay.
Is Women with a Mission.
Okay.
Having said that, I just need to fill you up about this. I started a platform or an organization called Women with a Mission. To start with, it was to focus on teen moms.
Okay.
But then I remembered and went back and said, Chiyedza, teen moms don't just come on the surface. There are parents involved, and the boys, and the men, and the fathers. And mind you, some of these teen moms are being given pregnancy by sugar daddies.
Oh yes, it does happen.
Some are raped.
Everybody's story is a little bit different,
Yes. So we all need to be in there. So on this platform, presently, we are on Facebook. We are on WhatsApp. We are on Instagram.
Okay.
And what I do is I share as much information as can be.
Okay.
And on Facebook, we tend to have these discussions.
Okay.
And for anyone to contact me, they can contact me via WhatsApp, via Facebook, via Instagram, and through
Your book.
This book.
Where can people buy this book and purchase it?
This book can be purchased on Amazon.co.uk or .co.com, or you can contact me. Anyone in here, this book is on sale.
Fantastic. Chiyedza, it's been absolutely amazing having you here on the show today. I mean, you have been able to share your real life experience and not sugarcoat it or make it seem as if it was a walk in the park, but you've taken us through some of the challenges, the real life challenges that you experienced and how you've been able to bounce back. So thank you so much for being on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Tandie. It's been a pleasure and it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had it all today from Chiyedza Chiwonzoro. She is an author of a book called The Lioness In Me. And in that book, she describes how the lioness in her was birthed. Her story is amazing and such a young age of becoming a teen mum. But today, she's got a powerful testimony in how she's educating and empowering young mums, young boys, parents, of how we can be able to help each other and support them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Tandie Jacobs Show. I'm Tandie Jacobs, Born to Differ.